Pine Tree Flyers to the stage. Please make them welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, we're so happy to be here tonight. This is our first show in Vermont. For a while, we were joking that we only played gigs in Maine. We're from Portland, Maine, and in foreign countries, because that's all we had been doing. So we're glad to finally make it over the mountains to you. Up Lincoln Gap, holy cow, that was a drive.
Neil and I took the AT Gap, which I was saying to Neil, like, oh, yeah, this is fun, but yeah, the Lincoln Gap is really good. And then these two got out of their car. They came from a poutine festival earlier.
You think he's joking?
No, they play it, yeah. Anyways, they got out of the car and they said, whoa, Lincoln Gap, and some other things that I won't say on a mic. So.
Those are a couple great New England tunes. The first one is called Smith's Delight. It's from Rhode Island. And then we followed it with, a Quebecois tune. It's not a New England tune, but it's very popular. It sounded like a bunch of you had heard it before. It's classic in the contra dance repertoire. And we'll go on with some jigs for you now. Haste to the Wedding and Coleraine.
Oh, thanks so much. Well, maybe we haven't said quite explicitly yet, but the sort of focus of this band, I'll introduce the band while we're talking about them. We got Neil here on the piano. Emily on the accordion. You heard from Katie there on the fiddle. My name is Owen. Hello. But yeah, we all grew up here in New England. I grew up in Vermont. We lived in Shoreham for a little while when I was a kid, and then kind of moved over. Oh yeah, oh yeah, moved over to Washington, Vermont, and some time up in Richford as well. Any Richfordites anywhere? Yeah, there never are. Yeah, this is all music that we grew up playing as in our youths so long ago. For contra dances, New England repertoire fiddle music. And that last jig we played, we got from a recording of the Canterbury Dance Orchestra, Canterbury, New Hampshire, who had legendary members such as Dudley Loffman, Art Bryant, Jacqueline was in that. No, Sylvia. Sylvia was in that, yeah, sorry. And of course, Bob McQuillan, one of the great, oh yeah. One of the greats, and we all got to know him at various points in our lives and towards the end of his, and he was just such a unique character. I like to think that he probably broke his own mold on the way out. So many amazing stories about him. One of my favorite ones, he used to come up to Maine Fiddle Camp where we would all teach or go as campers or just for fun. Bob would drive around an old ice cream truck that he had some bunk beds bolted down in and a piano bolted down in. And you would see him, just an upright piano, but you would see him at festivals. There's some great pictures of him in there. But among those modifications, he also drilled a little hole in the floor, and he had a little hose and a funnel so that he could make really good time on his drives to those festivals. But Bob was a teacher and a vet and wrote over 1,000 tunes, all for people. And we're going to play one of his tunes now called Scotty O'Neill. It's reportedly the first tune he wrote. And I changed the melody around a little bit. I like to play with some of his tunes. I think there's a lot of emotional content that if you take away the dance tempos necessary, or the tempos necessary for playing for dances, and take them to a concert stage, you can explore the space a little bit more. So we're going to play that tune, and then a great pipe march called the 79th Farewell to Gibraltar.
Thank you so much. We love the enthusiasm. We feel it too. We have another set of reels for you now. The first is called Hull's Victory. And introducing this set has a lot of history in it, so I'm just going to keep looking at my bandmates and they'll stop me if I get it wrong. Or maybe one of you will. We've had that happen too. Hull's Victory was written about old Ironsides, or the Constitution, who apparently had at least one victory in our war against the English. So far, so good?
I think so.
Great. The second tune is called Douglas's Favorite. And we don't know who wrote it, but we do know that it was made popular by a terrific fiddler up in Belfast, Maine, back in the late 1800s named Jack Douglas. And he was a black fiddler, which is exciting for us because a lot of times you don't get to see that in this tradition. And the more you dig, the more you look, the more you find. And so we love to showcase that tune and picture him up there fiddling away for everybody in Belfast. He was in high demand, one of the most popular fiddlers of the day. So that's Douglas's Favorite. And the last is called Lamplighters. And I don't have a story about that one, but I guess it's back when they had lamps that needed lighting. So that's your history lesson. Enjoy.
Thank you. Some of our favorite dance tunes there. We've been laying into the reels a lot so far tonight, so I think we're going to slow things down for you for a minute and for ourselves for a minute and play play a couple of waltzes here. As Owen mentioned, we're sort of focused in this band. We are focused in this band on playing kind of the old New England dance tunes, sort of reimagined for the concert stage, doing some of the things that you can't do when you're playing this music for dancing. Love playing for dancing, love the energy that it has for that, but there's some fun ways we can explore it differently in this context. So that's what we've been enjoying in this band. And these are a couple of waltzes. The first one, as Owen was saying, we're really enjoying sort of highlighting and lifting up some of our sort of the generations that came before us and brought this music to where we could carry it on. And so this is another tune by a great sort of music hero of the last generation, David Kaner, as you can hear. A waltz written for Owen's sister, Ellie, called Ellie's. And then we'll go into another waltz, which we got it under the name Ile de Madeleine.
Love this story.
Yeah. Ile de Madeleine, which is, this group of islands, or is it one island? Islands in Quebec, anyway. And that's what we knew the tune under the name of, but when we started to do the research, as often happens when you're putting an album together, which we haven't mentioned yet, but we have a new album. We were putting this album together. We were doing the research to just, learn what we could about the tunes a little more, and found that this tune was originally written under a different name and not from Quebec at all. It was written by a guy named Spade Cooley from out in the Midwest, who was a convicted murderer.
It's the murderer's waltz.
It was under the name Blue Jeans and Gingham, was what he called this waltz. And yeah, he's quite a character as we looked into him. The way that he died was like he was in prison. He was let out to perform a show because I guess he was so in demand and popular. They let him come out and perform this concert. And during intermission, he died during the intermission backstage. So a bit of a dramatic character. And we actually recently came across another tune that a great fiddler friend of ours, Frank Farrell, gave to us that he wrote, which is also wildly dramatic. What a personality. You'll hear in the tune anyway. So this is Ile de Madeleine or Blue Jeans and Gingham, depending on.
And we all promise to come back healthy and alive after the break.
Thanks so much. We have some jigs for you now. We have 100 Pipers, classic tune, and then we have the Hope jig, which Owen brought to us via his old friend Sarah Blair, the great Vermont fiddle player, Irish fiddle player. It's a composition of hers, and it kind of skirts right in between the Irish style and the New England style, and we really love it. And then we'll go into a tune that I picked up last summer. Neil and I were playing a festival in Northumberland in England, the Rathbury Folk Festival, and there were a bunch of great sessions every single night. It felt a lot like a night here at home, with people just like ripping tunes, fun, easy, catchy tunes. And this one came up, I feel like it came up every 15 minutes. They couldn't get enough of it. And it's called Joe's Lost E-Jig.
All right, everybody. All right, settle down. We've got one more for you, then we'll take a little break. During that break, you might think about grabbing a CD. I also heard tell there might be snacks. I love snacks. But even more than snacks, I love this next set we're going to play. We call it the Lady Set, and it has 3 tunes named after ladies. The first one is... I cracked myself up. The first one is Lady of the Lake. The second one is Lady Walpole's. That's the hardest one. And the last one is Lady Anne Montgomery. So root for us on the second tune and enjoy.
Why did you say that?
It's wicked easy.
I do just want to take a moment to backtrack, Emily, to a historical fact you missed.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. That you forgot to mention that the name of the captain of the Ironsides was Hull, which is just hilarious. But
That's actually super important because otherwise they'd think it was just about the victory of the boat.
no,
Yeah.
the captain was named Hull. I've been sitting on this whole set.
For half of this.
It was gonna happen on stage or in this green room though. We needed to. So
You're welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
And we've sort of quickly in passing mentioned the CD, but I should say that we just made our first album as a band that came out this past spring. And so this is our first, it's our first gig as a band in Vermont at all, but definitely with the album. And we are excited to be sort of launching it out into the world this year. So we hope you'll take a look at it and say hi to us down there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. See you after the break. I think I know almost everyone who won in the raffle tonight, and I promise it wasn't rigged. Usually Neil wins at the 50-50.
It's true, but I didn't realize there was one until it was too late.
Thank you so much. Thanks for sticking around. We all made it through the intermission. Fantastic. Thank you so much. That was Money Musk, one of the legendary tunes of New England contra dancing. We're going to move on and play you some jigs. We'll start with Shadows on the Lawn by Doug Feeney. A friend of mine I met at the Northeast Heritage Music Camp, which is just over in Starksboro. I'm there most summers. Glad there's some Nahumpkins in the audience. And then we'll go into the Banks of Lochgowna, and then into an original tune of Owen's that is called The Prince of Seals. And you may all, when we were young in the 90s, Princess Diana was in the news a lot. And so was the Prince of Wales, as it turns out. And Owen got a little confused.
I still am in a lot of ways.
And he thought the Prince of Wales was like a literal beluga or something. And so
I was like 10 or something. Yeah, I was mostly playing with Legos and half listening to VPR. So,
hence the Prince of Seals.
Could I get a little bit less fiddle in the monitor? Got Owen Marshall on that beautiful tune. So we kicked off this half with Money Musk, as Katie said, which is it's one of these tunes that has a link to the Scottish music tradition. It's an old Scottish traspe that changed into a reel and got extra parts added and things when it came over to New England. And we're going to do another tune that has that as part of that side of the New England repertoire. This is Petronella, which is another old Scottish tune that came over and got new life, and it's found its own place and its own associated dance and everything over here this way. So we're going to do Petronella, and then very appropriately for this gig, the Green Mountain Petronella, which is commonly goes along with it.
Gotcha. Thank you. We're going to slow it down next for everyone's good. The tune we're going to play for you is called Glees ter Sherbrooke, and some of you may have heard it played at dances in a pretty perky way, and we're going to do something a little different with it just because we can. Glees ter Sherbrooke. Hope you enjoy.
We really love giving Anil a little feature on that one. It's his big solo. Solo
Five
note.
notes.
Yeah,
Five
yeah,
notes.
yeah. But it's what he does with them. Yeah. Well, we're going to keep playing some French Canadian tunes, some that you'll definitely recognize if you have been anywhere near anyone from New England who plays fiddle. The first one is La Basse Strain, and then the second, The Joys of Quebec, But this version of Laba Strain, I was reminded of this by a great record of Philippe Bruneau, who did this little setting of it where he took part of a song. What's the song?
Vive la Canadienne.
Yes, Emily's got it. And he tacked it on the front of Laba Strain, a great little arrangement. And that record was actually recorded in Addison County, I think. Yeah, what town was that studio in? Yeah, thanks. Okay, I was up here just like, So very close to where that was recorded. A great record. Does anyone have this record? The Phil Bruneau one? He's looking mighty. He's looking quite swarthy on the front there. Very cutting a good figure. So Neil's getting close. So yeah, you got to undo some buttons on that T-shirt, but
Leave Neil alone.
Yeah.
Enough.
That's okay. We worked through some stuff in the car, so.
We've just got a couple more left for you tonight. We're going to play a waltz that I wrote a few years ago for some family friends, Gloria and Ricardo Cepeda. It was their, I want to say, it was a big one, 50th wedding anniversary, and their daughter commissioned a tune, and I got this beautifully written. I was like, do you have any inspiration for it? And their daughter sent this like long, beautiful, it was like a fairy tale, their love story. And the thing I took away from it is that her father called her mother Vidita, which means my life or my little life in Spanish. So this is Vidita Waltz.
Katie McNally wrote that. Yeah.
Well, this is just about it, folks. I want to say a massive, massive thank you to the Burnham Hall and Burnham Presents for having us tonight. This is such a pleasure to be here with you tonight. Give them a huge round of applause for what they do.
They've taken really great care of us this is such a joy of a gig to play. From the moment we walked in the hall, it's just been so like comfortable and easy. It sounds good. They're great people, and they gave us even sippy cups to drink from on stage. So keep supporting them and what they're doing. This sort of thing doesn't happen without all of you coming and supporting. So keep doing that.
We're going to finish off with some reels. As we were kind of going.
Surprise.
Yeah, surprise. As we were going through old recordings of fiddlers through the ages and different books and stuff, the one tune kept showing up over and over and over and over. We even played a concert of a double bill with featuring tunes from a new collection of tunes from Maine, and both bands played this tune. In fact, we played it, the other band played it, but it's such a great one. The opera reel, a true gem of a tune. And then there's another tune that got recorded a whole bunch on all these other albums we were checking out. The Golden Wedding Reel, another great one. Who wrote that one? That was...
It was at least popularized by, oh my gosh, Don Messer from New Brunswick.
But these two tunes, we took a lot of inspiration from one of my second favorite fiddle player. And actually, Emily's also just a ripping fiddle player, and Neil is actually pretty good too. So my fourth favorite fiddle player.
I did hear you play the fiddle once.
I'm pretty good. I have a lot of style.
A lot of grit.
Yeah. But anyways, these Ruthie Dornfeld, a great, an unsung fiddle legend, I think. People who know that she is the shit. So we're going to play these tunes. Thanks so much for coming out. Thanks so much, Neil Perlman, Emily Troll, Katie McNally, I'm
Owen Marshall. We're the Pine Tree Flyers.
Is this what you wanted? We're gonna play Pete Sutherland's tune Sunday River Waltz. Yeah. We like playing it. We don't have an arrangement that's very locked in, so they're just figuring it out right now. But we figured since we're here and we miss Pete, we'll play it for him.
Thanks, everyone. Get home safe.